Okay, today we're going to talk about sluice box setup. Little digger mining and supply. And here you can see I have the Joby 45 inch and the 36 inch sluice boxes. The setup on these two is the same. Generally you want 1 inch per foot drop and no more than that, unless your sand is really sandy and you can get away with that little extra scrubbing action to make the material transfer a lot faster. But for most purposes you do not want to drop more than 1 inch per foot, and don't completely submerge your sluice box in the water. That causes what they call a float effect, and it will defeat the purpose of the sluice box and stop it from performing, causing the gold to float right out the end of your box. Generally speaking, when you set this in the water, you do not want this to be more than halfway submerged in your creek or stream. That being said, because the float effect will occur, where your material will just float right over the top of these riffles and carry the gold out the end of your box. You want the water no more than at least 1 inch above the top of your riffle in order to cause that eddy to scrub your material and keep it dancing in order to have a effective exchange rate in your sluice box. Any more than that, you'll blow your material out if it's moving too fast. And in clay soils where it's really sticky and muddy, you want this thing to be less fast. You don't want the water to be moving extremely fast where it's moving the clay material through the box too fast. You want it to be scrubbed longer to break up those clays to settle your gold out. This here is the 36 inch sluice box, so with a 36 inch you want no more than 3 inches of fall in this. So if this is sitting at the top of your water, right here on this edge, you want this end of it to be up to about right here in the water. That's 3 inches. This is a 3 inch tall side here. And if you have it any higher than that, you're going to cause heavy materials to build up in this part of the box. And all material to build up in this end of the box. And the material will just slowly back up into the box, and then you'll lose the entire effect of your riffles. They won't be exchanging any material at all. Your material that you feed will come right up here, right on top of that, and go right out the end of your box. And not capture the gold. You'll make your efficiency of this at about 5%. Generally, you want this to be at about 90%, which most gold prospecting equipment is, providing it is set up properly. Now, these sluice boxes, like in many other sluice boxes, will hold gold. There's nothing on the market today that captures 100% of the gold. It does not exist. That is a marketing scheme to get you to buy something they want to sell to make a profit. You want to buy something that is going to make you money. And everything will make you money if used properly. That includes the Job sluice boxes, the Keen sluice boxes, the RDH, which is Royal Manufacturing, Gold Buddy, all of them will hold gold, providing it's set up properly. Don't be impatient. Patient will cause you to lose gold. Just take your time, set it up properly, and you will get the most out of your product. And behind these riffles here is where you want your eddy. Because in there, that's where your gold's going to hide. Your chunkier gold. Now you see in this expanded metal, you have a riffle there as well, as most of you know. And that'll be an active zone where your finer gold will stop. But if you're feeding this too fast and not running it at the proper angle and speed for the material that you're running, this will plug up. If you're running it too quick, it'll blow out and you won't capture the gold, and then you'll think, well, I'm not on any gold, there ain't none here. But if you're running it too fast or too slow, your gold's going to be in your tailing piles. So take your time, set it up properly, and you will have an effective piece of equipment at catching gold. These sluice boxes come in a variety of sizes. Like I said, that's the 45 inch. It'll handle more material, obviously. And they use these on the high bankers as well, and they work great. And then up here you got this rubber matting in the top of it. That's for inspection. You'll see if you're on the gold up here if your box is running right. Now, this part of it will hold the microfine flour gold as well as your chunky pieces. But anything over a ½ gram nugget is going to get trapped down in here and this expanded metal in behind these riffles. When you're setting it up in a creek or stream, you don't want to be in a high turbulent area where the water's really blasting through and you see that white water. If you see that, your box is too aggressive and it's going to blow all your material out, and you'll be just transferring the gold from one part of the creek to another and not keeping it in your box where you need it. Most pieces of equipment will have what they call acceptable loss rates, which every piece of equipment has. Even the most expensive of pieces of equipment that cost as much as $1 million have acceptable loss rates. And those generally are between 5 and 10% of what you're feeding it. And periodically, you want to test pan your tailings to see if you're in those acceptable loss rates. Once you got your box set up right and you're confident it's running good, you do not have to clean this out every bucket of dirt. This thing will not plug up. You can run this thing a ton through this thing before you have to clean it up. And if you don't see this thing all full of black sand in here and these pockets are covered and hidden, keep running. Do not stop. The more you run, the more gold you get. Now if you see all these little pockets in this expanded metal are plugged up and your riffles behind here are full of black sand, you're no longer exchanging material. This box is no longer working. So that's when it's time to stop, clean out, dump out your concentrates in your bucket, and start running again. And most areas, like the local mountains of Southern California, have a large amount of black sand in them. And they very rarely do they completely fill this box if you have a good exchange rate, because some of that black sand will go out the end of the box, leaving room for your gold to settle out. I have personally taken one of these 45-inch sluice boxes and ran it continuously all day long for 10 hours non-stop without cleaning out. And that was, in that 10 hours, me and my friend put over 120 buckets of dirt through that thing. And I came out with a ½ an ounce of gold and about 3 pounds of black sand in that. Just, if you clean out every 2 or 3 buckets and you say, oh, there's no gold here, or this piece of equipment don't work, that's because you're not running enough dirt. The average amount of gold per yard that you run is anywhere between ½ a gram and a gram per yard. That's about 18 buckets of dirt. There's 3 cubic yards in a ton. If you run 3 cubic yards in a day, you're going to see approximately 1 gram to 1.5 grams of gold if the area is producing. And if your equipment's set up properly. If you're too aggressive with it, you're not going to see it. So by all means, slow down, take your time, get used to your piece of equipment, and it will make you a suitable return. This box here, the 36-inch box, is $100. If you run this thing correctly, you can make your money back on this box in one afternoon, if you follow the instructions given to you in this video. When your entry point on your water should not be more than 1.5 inches to 2 inches up the side of this box, and that's all you need. Then you drop the lower end of your box according to the specifications of 1 inch per foot. And this is a 3-foot box, so 3 inches drop at the end. The water as it enters here, it starts to speed up the further it gets down the box. So the further down in these riffles, the scrubbing action will be more active than it will be here. Here is where you want it to be slow and gentle as it's entering, giving it time to break up that dirt and any clays that are in here, so your gold will start to drop out as it goes down the box. Now if you see the material slowly working through here and you say, well, my box is not going fast enough, look down here. See how much dirt is staying down here. You'll see it really active down here. Here you want it to slow down, give a chance of gold to drag through these riffles and break up that soil so your gold will stop down here. You don't have to trap all your gold right here. This is for inspection. This is to see that you are getting gold. This is not to trap all your gold. This, and this are to trap all your gold. If you see gold down here at the end of your box, you will be losing some. Are you catching gold? Yes. And that's a good thing, because you means you broke up the soils up here, setting the gold free from the dirt so it's trapped down here. Generally, you don't want to see all your gold stopped up here like they say. You want to see it from here to here, all your gold. And if you look at most dredgers that's been dredging for a long time, they only clean out the top half of their box every day. The bottom half they leave. And they'll clean that out once a week. So if you want to, while you're running and stop and do an inspection, clean out your do a test pan on your tailing, see what you're losing, if anything, and take a little bit out of here for a test pan to see that you're still on the gold. And if you are still on the gold, you will see it here, here, and here. Not so much down here. You will see some down here, but it should be less down here than what you see in these top 3 sections and here. And that's all for now, but if you have any questions, feel free to look up littlediggerminingsupply.com. Contact me, and if you have a question about sluice boxes, gold panning, or anything, I can answer those questions for you. I've been doing this for 35 years now, and I'm an open book, and I don't charge for information. I won't try and sell you nothing. I will give you all the information you need. If you buy from Keen, RDH, Royal Manufacturing, or Gold Buddy, or Job, I'll give you any of the information you need in order to make your equipment work for you. And I also know a lot about dry washers as well. And thank you, and I hope this helps you, and may there be gold in your pan. And I'm by myself, so I gotta shut off the camera.